Good morning, Bekka here. Today I have been given an awesome gift. I'm up in the country and I was brought this right here. This right here. This is Yaupon. And Yaupon is a natural, or has natural caffeine in it. So I'm going to process it today and I'm going to bring you along. So let's get started. For those of you that are here for the first time, I'm Bekka and I'm here to empower you with knowledge of a natural health lifestyle. And I do that with herbs. And today we are processing Yaupon. So here we go. So processing Yaupon is really easy. All we really need is a basket to catch it, or any type of container, or so on and so forth. You don't want to just drop it down on the ground, because then whenever you sweep it up, you're going to be sweeping up dirt with it. And then you need some Yaupon. And this is Yaupon. And how we know it's Yaupon is it has staggering leaves, and they're little bitty. See how small those leaves are? And there is a plant that grows around here that is fairly similar if you're not paying attention, but those leaves will be diagonal or side by side with each other. So that is a great way to identify whether you have a Yaupon or the look-alike. And you don't want the look-alike because it will make you sick. So make sure that you know you have Yaupon. But like I mentioned, Yaupon has a natural caffeine in it, so I like using it as a tea substitute, just to have around. In the olden days, back in the day, it would be used for like headaches because it stimulates because of the caffeine. So I'm going to collect it for a alternative today, and you can actually collect the leaves and the small stems, but I'm just going to strip. I have enough here, as you can see, it's like a big old bundle. I have enough here that I'm just going to collect the leaves off the stems today, and then we will go into the kitchen and I'll show you on how to cook it. And it's basically just sticking it in the oven, low temperature, to dry it out. You're not actually cooking it, you just want to dry it. So if you have a large dehydrator, you can use that as well, or you can stick it out in the sun and let it dry that way. But you do want it kind of crispy to suck the moisture out, because the moisture is what's going to cause mold and mildew problems in your teas. So I'm going to start processing my Yaupon. Yaupon on a dehydrator to dry is a simple way to dry it, and you would put it on, my case, it would be the highest setting. You're looking at about 150, 200 degrees that you want. My particular dehydrator has Celsius, and it only goes up to 70 degrees Celsius, which is not quite 200, but that's okay. It will just take a little longer to dry, but we're drying it to a crispiness to where you can break it up in your hands. Now, if you don't have a dehydrator, or even the dehydrating sheets, I just happen to have some dehydrating sheets, you can just set it on the dehydrator or put little pieces of muslin over the top of it to keep it from falling through the grates. But if you don't have that, you don't have to go rushing off to buy one. I got a little trick for you. If you have a oven with a pilot light, so a older gas oven that had a pilot light, I used that for years. But when we lost our house, I could not find another one with a gas pilot light, so we ended up going electric. But that's okay because we're going 200 degrees. This oven can handle that low of a temperature, and I have quite a bit of Yaupon. So what I would do if I was putting this in the oven, which I don't need to because I have my dehydrator, but if I was putting this in the oven, I would take my oven racks, I took it out, and then I would use the larger aluminum foil, and it will fit over the oven rack, and then you can just spread out your Yaupon over that, and it acts as a like a sheet. It keeps it from falling through, and you can do both racks and dehydrate quite a bit in the oven. And then when it's done, all you have to do is turn the oven off and allow it to cool a little bit, and then you can pull up the aluminum foil, and it acts as its own little pouch to be able to get all of your Yaupon out. So I am going to let this dehydrate for a couple of hours. I'll probably come in about an hour and stir it up and see how it's going. But I will be back with you when this is all dry. All right, it is the next morning of dehydrating or drying my Yaupon leaves. Last night, I put this in kind of late in the day, and just wanted to relax. So what I did is I just turned down the temperature and let it sit overnight. So let's give it the crumble test and see if my Yaupon is done. So it does look dry here on the top, and I don't know if you can see, there are some green leaves which are dry and crispy, and then there's also some brown leaves, which that is normal when dehydrating Yaupon. So don't think that you did it wrong when it has multicolored leaves like that. And let's just you want to test it on several different trays to make sure that anything that it crumbles. If there is any spots that don't crumble on a particular tray, then spread it out and continue to dehydrate it, because you don't want any of the green leaves or the fresh leaves in your mixture, because it will make the whole mixture go bad over time if you allow the moisture, there's too much moisture. So if you allow the moisture to stay in your leaves, it will ruin the whole batch. So that's one thing that you want to make sure of. So I will go through the tray, and I like picking out of the center because that's usually where it's going to be moist if it hasn't dehydrated very well. And it does feel crumbly. Oh yeah, it's crumbling nice and easy. So I don't know if you can see how much it's crumbled, but it should crumble nice and easy in your hands. I got a little tip for you. I use these silicone mats not only to keep the small leaves of the Yaupon from falling tray to tray, but I can pick it up and empty the whole thing into my bowl without a mess. So now that we have dried the Yaupon, what do we even do with it? Well, I like it because I like using Yaupon because it is a natural caffeine. So I put it in some of my herb teas, my herbal teas. And the reasoning is because it's a natural caffeine, it is a stimulant. So when I'm making a tea that is good for inflammation, I want to stimulate blood flow as well, to get the fluid moving. So I put this specifically in my Liberty tea, which is made with goldenrod, dewberry leaf, and Yaupon. But I can also keep this in a separate jar, so if I want it in any of my herbal teas, then I can just throw a little bit in a batch of herbal tea, and voila, I have a caffeinated tea. So that is the process of using Yaupon that I have wildcrafted, and in this case it was given to me, or I should say the original case. I'm actually on a batch number 2 just to finish up the video and to bulk up my supply for the winter time. Though this can be picked through the winter, it's a hit and miss depending on the health of the plant. So I'm just kind of bulking up for winter time. That way I don't even have to worry about it through the winter. So there we go. There's Yaupon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I will see you again soon. And until then, get healthy, be happy, and herbal on. Bye.